Alright, Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to begin this lesson by giving all glory, all honor, and all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. I'd like to give double honors, double unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who surely do rule well. As always, I'd like to say Shalom unto the elect. There's a brother here, Marshall, coming back to you again from the Heroes of Yahushai camp. It's another video, another lesson. And Lord's willing, this lesson is edifying. Right? Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Right? Topic for today's lesson based off of the word of the day, June 26, 2026. Symbiosis or symbiosis. Right? If you can get the word here. Symbiosis. What it means. Symbiosis is a formal word that refers to a relationship between two people or groups that work with and depend on each other. In biology, symbiosis refers to the relationship between two different kinds of living things that live together and depend on each other. The new playground is the result of symbiosis between multiple stakeholders, including residents, donors, and town officials. The bacteria exist in symbiosis with the plant's roots. Example, in the old days, which weren't that long ago, there was that ritual moment when a rock and roll idol, in the midst of delivering a classic anthem, would point the mic away from himself and into the arena, indicating that it was time for the audience to take over and sing the lines. It might be a Springsteen doing Thunder Road or Madonna doing Holiday. The loving symbiosis of pop star and pop audience doesn't get much more reverent than that. Owen Gleiberman, Variety 7th Variety, 7th May 2026. Did you know symbiosis was adopted by the scientific community in the late 1800s, coming ultimately via German from the Greek symbiosis, meaning living together, companionship. Of course, there are a lot of ways to live together and accordingly several flavors of symbiosis. And a biological symbiosis between two organisms is mutually beneficial. It is termed mutualism. For example, oxpeckers are birds so named because they peck ticks off of infested cattle and wild mammals, a likely satisfying arrangement for both parties, and textbook mutualism. When one organism lives off another at the other's expense, however, as for one icky instance, head lice do, it's called parasitism. If only parents of elementary school students could call upon an equivalent of oxpeckers to engage in mutualistic symbiosis when the need arose, but alas. Right? I'm going to see this word now in the online etymology dictionary. Symbiosis, noun, 1876, as a biological term, union for life of two different organisms based on mutually benefit. From Greek symbiosis, a living together. From one symbion, living together. From symbiosis, one living together with another partner, companion, husband or wife. From a simulated form of sin together. Sin plus bios, life. From pi root gui, to live. Given a wider non-biological sense by 1921, an earlier sense of communal or social life, it is found in 1620 as a backed form verb symbios is recorded from 1960, 16 by 9. Either of the two organisms is a symbiont, 1887, earlier in German. Right? There's a symbiosis-istic relationship that exists between the Most High and His prophets. And as we see the biological aspect of this, they like to say, or they brought out the meaning two living organisms, right? Well, we know our power is referred to as the living God. Let's get this real quick. The living God. Let me see. The living God. Let's see if I get this to me. Right? Let me see. I'll read Deuteronomy. In fact, I'll even read Joshua 3 and 10. And Joshua said, hereby ye shall know that the living God, and his name is Yahweh, the name of his only begotten Son is Yahweh Shai, is among you, and that he will without fail drive out from before you the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Hivites, and the Perizzites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Jebusites. 1 Samuel 17:26. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, or taken away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? Right, 2 Kings 19:4. It may be Yahweh thy power will hear all the words of Rabshakeh, whom the king of Assyria his master had sent to reproach the living God, and he will reprove the words which Yahweh thy power hath heard. Wherefore lift up thy prayer for the remnant that are left. Book of Psalms. My soul thirsted, Psalms 42 verse 2, for power, for the living power. When shall I come and appear before power? I'll read Psalms 84. My soul longeth, yea, even fainted, for the courts of Yahweh. My heart and my flesh crieth out for the living power, the living God. So we understand one entity here in this relationship is described as alive, right? Well, since the Most High is alive, are his prophets alive as well? Oh well, you best believe we are alive. We are alive and kicking. There's John 14 and 6. Yahweh shall say it unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. Right? If you're enduring Yahweh Shai, you are very much alive, and you can't deal with the Father. Again, this is described as a relationship. You can't come unto the Father or be in a relationship with the Father unless you come by Yahweh Shai. You need to walk the same path Yahweh Shai walking. Ergo, you have entered into life. In fact, let me see that. If thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. Matthew 19 and 17. And he said unto him, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is power, Yahweh. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. Right? We were given the commandments which leadeth unto everlasting life. One more precept we could get. In fact, two more. Revelation, I believe, is 11 and verse. Revelation 11 and verse 11. Right? And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from power entered into them. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Right? So the spirit of life has entered into you, which we know this Revelation 11, going from verse 8, going into verse 11, speaks to the spiritual death of the nation of Israel. This means what? They were revived and they came back to life. Specifically who? The prophets, right? By extension, the elect, right? So we understand here there are two parties involved, two living parties who live off each other, and we're gonna go into the whole symbiotic sense of the relationship, get the biblical understanding of it. But I believe it's here. It's this book, or if it's not, this is yes, Habakkuk chapter 3, reading from verse 1. A prayer of Habakkuk the prophet upon Shigionoth. O Yahweh, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. Yeah, Habakkuk was seeing them dreams, and he was seeing the frightening shit that the Most High was getting ready to do upon the face of the earth. This same chapter goes into the frightening vision that Habakkuk saw, the chaotic return of the Son of Man. revive thy work in the midst of the years. Bring back to life the men who you have ordained to preach this work, right? In the midst of the years, make these prophecies known to the earth. Matthew 24, right? The gospel of this kingdom shall be preached for a witness unto all four corners of the earth, and then shall the end come. In wrath, remember mercy, right? And when you go into that term revive, what does it mean? Revive is back, and revive alive, bring back to life, or make back alive the men who you were always dealing with from since the beginning, right? Bring them back to life. Let this work continue, right? Before you have to bring destruction upon the face of the earth. So, right, you understand there's two parties here, two living parties. The living power, Yahweh, and he has a living set of prophets that he deals with, right? So now, what is the relationship here? Well, first thing we have to establish is that there is a relationship. Amos 3:3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? And the answer is no. They cannot go together unless they agree. And one thing we sure of is that the Most High and the prophets are in agreement one with another. Again, the nation of Israel has been likened unto the Most High's bride. And as we just read, going into that word symbiosis, as you're seeing on the screen here, live together from symbiose, live together like go together from symbiose, one living together with another, partner, companion, husband, or wife. Well, the nation of Israel, beginning with the prophets, the elect, the 144,000, are the bride of the Most High. Right? Jeremiah 3:14, turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahweh, for I am married unto you. So there's a relationship here, definitely. And I will take you one of our city and two of our family, and I will bring you to Zion, and I will give you pastors, preachers, teachers, according to mine heart, who think like me, who again, Amos 3:3, who go together with me because they agree with what I say, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. When I get to Leviticus 26, again the Most High Yahweh has established this relationship himself. Leviticus 26:12, and I will walk among you, and I will be your power, and you shall be my people. Yahweh is the husband to the nation of Israel, specifically the prophets, right? He's always dealt with the prophets. In Luke chapter 1 and verse 70, I'll read from verse 68. Blessed be Yahweh, power of Israel, for he had visited and redeemed his people, through whom Yahushai is speaking of the birth of Yahushai, because they understood what this birth meant. It was the beginning of the redemption arc for the nation of Israel. And he had raised up an horn of salvation for us, Yahushai, in the house of his servant David, Yahushai, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. So since the world has begun, since the Most High created this whole thing that you see before you today, he's always been dealing with his prophets. Why? Because they are the ones who understand him the most. You know, the saying in the world, people like to say, you know, this like she really gets me. The prophets really get the Most High. So there's definitely a relationship established here. It's personal. Jeremiah 44, and I believe it's verse 4. Howbeit I sent unto you all my servants, the prophets. Right? And as I say in their servants, right? As the brother Kowal always loves to bring out, he always loves to say, when you go into the word man or you go into the word woman, man really just means male servant. When you check it in the etymology, all woman means is female servant as well. And again, the nation of Israel is likened unto a woman. Right, let me get that real quick. And how does this begin? This begins with the prophets. Call me delicate. Okay. This is the book of Jeremiah 6, and I'll read verse 1. I have likened the daughter of Zion, the descendants of Zion, the nation of Israel, to a comely and delicate woman. But if you really had to pick out the comely and delicate ones who you would liken unto comely and delicate women amongst the nation of Israel, it would really begin with the prophets. They are the ones who please the Most High the most. Right? They are his servants specifically. So understand that word woman, female servant, well, to the Most High, the female servants are his prophets. Right? If you could receive it, the book of Revelation 21, reading verse 9. And there came unto me one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife, his elect, right? The ones he had chosen and redeemed from among men on the face of the earth. Specifically, whom again? The prophets. There is a relationship here between a God, the God, Yahweh, the living God, and his prophets. Romans 11 and verse 4. But what say the answer of power unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Right? So what have we established here? Word of the day, symbiosis. There needs to be a relationship, and it needs to be established. But there needs to be a mutually beneficial relationship, and it needs to be established according to science. When you apply the word scientifically, between 2 living organisms. First living organism, Yahweh, the living power, and then what? His prophets, who he had raised back to life, who he had revived, whom his spirit had brought back to life. So now, since it says a mutually beneficial arrangement here, what is the benefit of us toward one to another? How does the Most High benefit from having us around him and from us being his wife? And what is the benefit of us having Yahweh as our husband, speaking from the prophetic standpoint? Well, firstly, the Most High needs his prophets to get the word out. Again, Jeremiah 28 and verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old, again since the world began, prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence, all the doings of Yahweh. If you go to that Amos 3 and you did read down, shall there be evil done in a city, and Yahweh had not done it? Mosai will do nothing except he reveal his secret unto his servants, the prophets. Why? Because they need to declare his doings among the people. That is the work and the job of the prophets. Right? Isaiah 62 and verse 6. Right? How does the Most High benefit from having the prophets around him? They do part of the job that he requires and that he needs to be done in the earth, which is what? To say his doings before it is done, to warn the people. Isaiah 62 and verse 6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls. I have picked these men, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. So like a nagging wife, ye that make mention of Yahweh, keep not silence, and give him no rest. Do not tell your husband to rest, and do not close your mouth till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. Again, the end has not come as yet, but we're going to keep saying the end going to come until it comes. We give him no rest until he does that which he said he was going to do, and that which he has given us the job to prophesy that he was going to do it before he did it. Right? This is our job. Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman of those same watchmen, Isaiah 62, unto the house of Israel. So you understand who it is you're watching for and who it is you're ultimately trying to give the warning to. Therefore hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. This is how the Most High benefits from having the prophets around him. This is how he benefits from being in a relationship, a symbiotic, symbiosis relationship with these men, is because what they get the word out before he does the acts that he's going to do in the earth. Right? These are the men he uses to warn the people. Hosea 12 and 10. I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. The work of service that the prophets do on the face of the earth is all to the aiding of the Most High's plan, of the work that he plans to do upon the face of the earth. They are his mouthpiece. They help him get the word out. Hebrews 1 and verse 1, power, who at sundry times, so many different times and in diverse manners, in many different manners, spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets. He gets spokespeople who declare his message. But what else do? They also glorify, acknowledge, and make mention of him. Again, that Isaiah 62. He that make mention of Yahweh, keep not silent. Right? So how does the Most High benefit from having the prophets around him? They don't close their mouth. And he has plenty that he needs to say and wants to say. He uses the prophets to do it. Because if he really wanted to, he could have used rocks, he could have used stones, he could have used trees, or he himself could have spoken. But he didn't do it that way. So what if he wasn't going to do it that way and he chose to do it this way? How did he do it? He used the prophets. Right? Deuteronomy 32, and you're going to read from verse 1. Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak. How is he going to do it? And hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, my speech shall distill as the dew, as a small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass, because I will publish the name of Yahweh. Right? A big benefit that Yahweh has for having the prophets around him and from being in a relationship with the prophets is that what? His name gets out there, and he wants his name to be out there. The Most High is a glory hog, and he deserves to be glorified. Ascribe ye greatness unto our power. Glorify him and give him the title of greatness. Let him know that he is great, and let all the inhabitants of the world know that Yahweh is great and he doeth great things in the earth. He is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, a power of truth, and might I say the only power, and without iniquity, just and right is he. The prophets are here to glaze the Most High. That is how he benefits from having them around him. Isaiah 12 and verse 4. I'll read verse 2. Behold, power is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. For Yahweh is my strength and my song. He also is become my salvation. So you glorify him and you acknowledge the role that the Most High plays in your life. Right? Elijah Shamba did a video on that recently titled Understand When the Most High is Speaking to You. The Most High is saving us from a lot of shit that we're not even aware of. Right? Isaiah 12 and 4. And in that day shall he say, praise Yahweh, call upon his name, Yahweh, declare his doings among the people. Let everybody in the earth know he had done this, and describe exactly what he had done. Make mention that his name is exalted. Kal Halalim La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Right? And Psalms chapter 9 verse 11. Sing praises to Yahweh, Kal Halalim La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, which dwelleth in Zion. Declare among the people his doings. Tell everybody what he has done and what he is doing and what he will do and what he will continue to do. Right? This is what and this is how the Most High benefits from having the prophets around him. and being in a relationship with the prophet, is that what he is glorified, he is made mention of, he's declared, he's made real by the prophets, because the whole world lieth in wickedness and none of them believe in Yahweh. But we do, and we will continue to do so till we die, Lord willing. Right? So now, since the Most High definitely benefits from having us around them, right? There's a use to the Most High of us in this relationship. He uses us, right? What is the benefit that we get from being the wife of the Most High? Well, ultimately, we get protected from the said evils that we prophesy about. Right? The very said same things and the very said same acts that the Most High is saying he's going to do upon the face of the earth, we get spared from it. Why? Because we declared before it's happened. Right? It's like a contractual agreement. What are the benefits you get from walking into this job? Well, you won't die. Right? You won't die, and if you do die, you don't die the grievous deaths that are going to put these people through. Why? Because they acknowledge not me. It's Psalms 23. I'm reading verse 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, which we know speaks of America, and by extension is this whole world, 1 John 5:19, and we know that the whole world lieth in wickedness, I will fear no evil. Right? Every time we go there and preach, we could get put to death by anybody passing by. But we don't fear that, and them things not gonna happen to me, Lord willing. Why? Because what thou art with me. That is why we fear no evil, and that is the greatest benefit we could have from having the Most High around us and in a relationship with us and intimately entangled with us. Why? Because he will protect us from the very said evils that he is getting, or he's being prepared to bring on the face of the earth. Thy rod and thy staff, thy strength, they comfort me. The strength of the Most High is the comfort of the prophets. The name of the Most High is a comfort to the prophets. Just knowing the name alone, right? Just putting our face behind the work, just putting our method behind the madness is enough of a comfort for the prophet. Because when you see the things that are going on in the face of the earth, not knowing what is going on is enough to send you crazy. Because a lot of evil is being done in the world. What? But because we know what's happening, right? And we have received answers, we are at peace. As we just read in Psalm 23, comfort, we are now comforted. We are comforted. In Proverbs 18 and verse 10, the name of Yahweh is a strong tower and a great comfort to the prophets. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. Right? This is the benefit we have from the Most High being our husband and being in a symbiosis relationship with us. We are now safe. Right? The book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 10, I believe. I'll read from verse 6. Believe in him. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear Yahweh, wait for his mercy, and go not aside lest ye fall. Ye that fear Yahweh, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear Yahweh, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old, and see, did ever any trust in Yahweh and was confounded? No. Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? No. Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? None. For Yahweh is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in time of affliction. The Most High is the most merciful man in existence, and had it not been the Most High, our bread would have been buttered a long time ago. Right? What is the benefit we have of now knowing our power and being in this relationship with him, in which he had committed this great work unto us to prophesy his work? We get spared from great judgments that he himself is dishing out and handing out to all the people upon the face of the earth. We are protected, right? Psalms chapter 91, I'm reading from verse 1. He that dwelleth in a secret place of the Most High Yahweh. A secret place, the name, because again, the Most High's name is a tower, right? The righteous runneth into it and is safe. But do many people in the earth know the name? And for those who know, do all of them acknowledge it? No. So it is a secret place. It's not a place everybody else have access to. Shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty, a shade in the days of the affliction of the sun. I will say of Yahweh, He is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, that sun who cometh, and from the noisome pestilence, the missiles, and He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Right? In the days when the Most High set to unleash mayhem, tribulation, pain, and anguish in the earth, the prophets will be protected. Why? Because the Most High benefited from them. Therefore, in the end, they shall benefit from Him. Right? And it makes mention, His truth shall be thy shield and buckler, the defense. Well, the wisdom that the Most High has given unto us shall be a defense for us in the tribulation and turbulent times that we set to head into. Isaiah 33 and I'll read verse 5 just to the fun of it. Yahweh is exalted, for He dwelleth on high. He had filled Zion with judgment and righteousness, and He had done these things. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is His treasure. The Most High rejoices in the fact that we are afraid of Him. I believe, therefore I have spoken. It is knowing therefore the terror of the Most High. We persuade men. We do this largely because, one, we love the Most High, but then two, we're deathly afraid of Him, because we know all the judgment that the Most High is set to bring upon the earth. He is the one who's responsible for it. No freak, no tectonic plates cause no earthquake, no fucking ice or no steam or no shit cause no volcanic eruption. It's all the work of the Most High, and it will always be His work. Right? He can send them angels, and them angels can unleash holy hell on this place. I don't know what you feel, I don't know what you believe, I don't know what you can say the explanation for that, but I know it was Yahweh. Amos 3 and 6, shall there be evil done in a city and Yahweh had not done it? I know it was Yahweh. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. In the book of Proverbs chapter 27 and reading verse 12, a prudent man foresee the evil, and we know by and large the prudent men in the earth are the prophets. They foresee the evil, what they speak of it, and hide it himself. It's a wise thing to enter into this relationship with the Most High, in which you declare His word, because through that you can hide yourself from the common evils that the world is about to witness. But the simple pass on, the ones who don't give a fuck and are punished, they're going to be punished for not caring about the Most High. They will be punished, I promise you that. But again, prophets won't be punished. The true prophets will not be punished. Matthew 18 and 10. Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones. For I say unto you that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. So you best watch yourself in this life. Don't come around these men. Don't leave these men alone. Leave the bride of the Most High alone. Why? Because again, it have men in the earth witnessing everything that's going on. These angels, and they're going back to report. And you best believe the Most High will fuck you up for His bride. Right? Jumping down here. I'll read verse 18. The power that the Most High has given unto these men. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. The word that these men preach is law. And it is law because what it came from the inspiration of the Most High. Verse 19, again I say unto you, that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything, they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. The Most High will do anything for these men, so as long as it is within his good will and his pleasure to do it. Right? Scriptures make mention of when a man's ways please the Most High, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. And who's that man? The man who's in this relationship with him, his prophet. Right? I even remember that Apostle Taha went into a video, could have been last month before, and where he would have said the man of the Most High is the prophet. The prophet is the most important man to the Most High. He is the one the Most High is in a relationship with. Matthew 18 and 20, for where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. And that I show about. So what ultimate benefit? We get spared from judgment in this agreement that we've entered into. As long as you do the things that I expect of you, I promise you no harm and no evil will come to you. And we know that's not going to happen again. Why? Because we've worked for it. Work we ass off to make sure that the Most High will punish me. It's 2 Ezra 9 and 6. Even so the times also of the Most High have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs, similitudes of judgment. Right? You're going to see these things made manifest and apparent in the earth through the judgments that the Most High said to bring on the earth. Right? Again, wait to say 2 Ezra 9:1, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And how do we do this? We use the prophecies, Sirach 9 and 1. And when thou seest part of the signs, right, the prophecies, the pestilences, the plagues, and the judgments, which I have told you before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the Most High will begin to visit the world which he made. How does he visit it? He brings judgment upon the face of the earth. Zephaniah 3 and 5. Every morning with his judgment come to light. He faileth not. The Most High does not disappoint or fail the prophets in their wish to see the judgment come to pass. But what the unjust know with no shame, they will not stop. 2 Ezra 9 and verse 7. And everyone that shall be saved and that shall benefit from being in this relationship with the Most High and shall be able to escape by his works. Ezekiel 14. They should deliver but their own souls by their righteousness. The righteousness of our prophet is to prophesy and prophesy right things, prophesy the correct thing, interpret the scriptures properly, and be able to escape by his works and by faith. I have believed, therefore I have spoken, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said peril. So again, the Most High is telling you, if you do the things which I expect of you and that I have commanded ye to do, ye shall be preserved from the said perils and shall see my salvation in my land and in my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. These men who will do this work, these men who is entered into a relationship with since the foundation of the world, since before the world began, these men he has put aside and has decided he will spare them from the ultimate judgment he's getting ready to bring upon the face of the earth. Right? But however, more than just being spared from the judgment, that's not the only benefit we get. I would like to say we get a lot more than what we worth if we really look at it. This book out. In fact, before I even bring down Matthew 19, let me get here Matthew 25. I'll read verse 21. Matthew 25, I'll read verse 21. His Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over few things, and I will make thee ruler. I will give thee dominion and power, and say, over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. I would like to say we stand to benefit a lot more than our work even warrants, right? Why? Because there's not a price that you could put on this. And the things that we're going to inherit, Lord willing, we are part of the Most High's body, of His bride, of His prophet, of His priesthood. The things we're going to get in return for what we have done, in comparison, it pales in comparison. In Matthew 19 and verse 28. And Yahushua said unto them, in fact, I'll read from verse 25. When his disciples heard it, they were exceedingly amazed and saying, Who then can be saved? But Yahushua beheld them and said unto them, With men this is impossible, but with power all things are possible. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? So basically, Peter is saying, well, we've entered into this marriage agreement and covenant with the Most High. As His prophets, we've done that which was our duty to do. And what we're ready to do in this thing for as long as we live is give our life to the Most High and to preach this word and to teach this word. Right? Go out, as Apostle Tal like to say, go out, eat the roll, and then preach unto the house of Israel. Same thing the Most High tell Ezekiel to do, which is all that the Most High required of us to do. What Peter saying is, yes, we have done that. So what is our reward? What is our benefit? Well, more than the things that I've just listed in terms of being protected from the said evil, again, we set to inherit way more than that. Matthew 19:28, and Yahushua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, when I should reign on earth, then, ye also shall sit upon 12 tribes. Salakia. That ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, right, the reincarnation, right, when the Most High Son shall come back to rule the earth, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So I'm going to give you power beyond your wildest dreams. I'm going to be a ruler of rulers. I promise you this. Verse 29, and everyone that had forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, so any physical possessions you have, any inheritance you have, plus your family, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. But the everlasting life is the point right there. What we are going to get in return for entering into this relationship with the Most High is something that cannot be measured. We are going to live forever, and you can't put a price on that. We're not even really worth it in the end. But the Most High chose us. So who are we? Right? Who are we to say we're not worth it? All we need to do is the work that was committed unto us to do, and that is it. As long as we have done that, then we're gonna get the prize, right? There's Baruch 4:28, because again, if you just watch wrestling, it's a quick joke from wrestling, right? The meme that they make out of this wrestler, Dolph Ziggler, it should have been me, right? And a lot of people are gonna say that it should have been me. Wisdom of Solomon 5, they're gonna account the life, the men whose life were accounted madness. And people made the exclamation, we fools, we accounted as life madness. So they acknowledge in the end that they were wrong, right? Solomon saw it. These people, they're going to be a big group of people in the earth, right? when the Most High Son should return to save them that dwell on the earth, his prophets, the ones who are in this relationship with his Father, the bride, when he comes to save them, what when they do receive that salvation, right? A lot of people are gonna dwell on the face of the earth and they're gonna say, ways by I was wrong, I should have followed them and I should have listened to them, right? So understanding that it could have been anybody that the Most High chose, right? He could have left you in your shit to die, but he didn't. So seeing that he didn't, how are we to thank him? Baruch 4:28. For as it was your mind to go astray from power, so being returned, so that since he took you back, again, the Most High said at Jeremiah 3:14, return, O backsliding children, for I am married unto you. Since he came back to me, since we came back, we need to seek him 10 times more. We need to love him harder than we have ever loved him before, right? Because now we have a chance to attain unto something that ultimately, when we look at it, don't even really deserve it. Or if we do deserve it, there's no amount of work that we could do that could measure up to what it is we seek to gain from being in this relationship with the Most High. So what? Keep working out your salvation in fear and trembling. Because what? It's reasonable. The Most High not asking you to do nothing hard. He just asking you to talk. This is Romans 12 and verse 1. I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of our power, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice. What is a sacrifice, or what does it mean to sacrifice something? It basically means to put something to death. So the desires of the flesh in this life, that all the things you want in this life, the things that Peter on our list, your sister, your brother, your mother, your father, your land and your house and all them other shit, put the desire for those things to death, right? And present yourselves as someone who's dead. Colossians 3:3, for you are dead and your life is hidden in Mashiach, holy, acceptable unto power, which is a reasonable service. It's reasonable. It's not something hard that the Most High is asking us to do, right? And this is what the Most High is owed for all the shit that we have put him through, right? Again, we left him, but he took us back. So now what? We need to offer up the sacrifice of our lips, and we close with this, right? This is all the Most High is asking us to do, and at the end of it, we shall inherit everlasting life, right? In fact, I even have our next one. I'll close. I'll close on our next one. This is the book of Hebrews chapter 13. I'm going to read from verse 14. For here we have no continuing city. This life we have, it's not going to continue. All these things are temporal. This world is coming to an end, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. But we seek one to come. We seek the everlasting earth that will be when the Son of Man returns. By him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to power continually. Let us continue to strive and work to do that which is our duty to do, that is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. And the greatest way I perceive that you should give thanks to the Most High's name, or that you can give thanks to the Most High's name as a prophet, is to keep prophesying to Waraya Bashimesha. Even before we open up our prophecies and before we go into this work, what do we always do? We praise the Most High's name in the name of his only begotten Son, in the name of his body of angels, right? Kal Halalim La Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Basham Rachakadash. So just do the video. Turn on your phone, send up your praises, then do the video, right? Continue. I'm gonna close with this. Salakia, 1 Corinthians 9 and verse 24. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all? So they run with all their might, with everything that they have, but one receiveth the prize. There's only so much medals that can be handed out. So run run. Again, Habakkuk said it, the prophecy in Habakkuk chapter 2, I believe it was, like, make right division, make it plain upon tables, that he may run, what run being a verb, a similitude for action, act, keep doing this work, that ye may obtain. Right? So what? Keep doing this work. This is how the Most High benefits from us having us in this relationship and having us being brought back to Him. We do this work, and in return, the Most High blesses us. And Lord willing, He gives us the greatest blessing that any man could ever receive. Matthew 19:29. He shall inherit everlasting life. Right? So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, and that you were edified. In closing, I'd like to say, Kal, Halalim La Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rucha Kodash. I'd like to give double honors, double unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who surely do rule well. As always, I like to say Shalom. Alright, this was a brother here, Maya Shala, from the Heroes of Yahushai camp. Till next time, I'd like to say Shalom. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.